Hey guys, welcome to my autumn book recommendations, another of my favorite videos to share each year. This year I'm doing something a bit different because I have so many other autumn recommendations videos on this channel, which I will leave all my past ones linked below because I do one each year. And the books on there are epic. I love them. This year I decided to keep it to books that I've read in the last year, and I'm going to rank them starting with the coziest ish. There's a little bit of wiggle room here, and we're gonna kind of get to the darkest. So if you want like a cozy autumn, read the books that are at the top of the list. If you like more suspense, mystery, thrillery, I don't think any of these are technically thrillers, the end of the list is for you. I've enjoyed all of these books, and I just thought it would be an interesting way to share my list this year. There's some favorite authors of mine that I didn't read this last year that didn't make the list. Definitely check out the previous year's videos as well, because there's some great ones on there. If you like cozy mystery or cozy fantasy, I just really shared a cozy mystery video. I'll leave that linked below. And then I fairly recently shared a cozy fantasy video as well, which I will also leave linked below. This video is kind of some mystery and some fantasy. So it's a mashup of the two, but if you want even more in one of those genres, I have videos for you. Okay, so without further ado, let's head into these books. First one I'm going to start with is an Agatha Christie. One of my favorites that I've read in the last while is called Nemesis. Now this book, you technically should read a Caribbean mystery first, but like maybe you read that one in the summer because, you know, the Caribbean, it's a great place for a summer read to be set, because we have a character in here. It's a Miss Marple book, but there's a character in here that's also in the other one. So in this story, Miss Marple gets she gets notified that her friend has passed away, and he has a mystery for her to solve, but he doesn't tell her what it is. And she has to kind of follow these clues that he leaves for her to try to figure it out. I have a lot of things in here. I created a video for it for my Patreon. This one has some illustrations throughout as well, which was fun. This is one of the ones where we are with Miss Marple a lot. Can I find another picture when I'm trying to find one? No. The pictures are so funny. They're like, if you don't even know what's going on, you probably can't even tell from that picture. We are with Miss Marple a lot, in her head, figuring things out. I kept trying to figure out who done it. Very, very enjoyable read for me. And I do have a video on here sharing my process as I went through it as well. So we're starting off with Miss Marple. She's pretty cozy. She's mystery, but she's Miss Marple. The next in the cozy order is What If We Met in a Bookstore? So this book is a portal fantasy, and we start out in like the real world in autumn, all the autumnal vibes. And then as we portal into this fantasy world, it gets to be like more of a winter feel. So this is a book that I would recommend for the end of autumn, beginning of winter, if you want the complete vibes of the book. So we start out with two main characters. We have Briar, who is a writer and an artist, and like her first few chapters, she's just reading tea, eating, baking, hanging out with her cats, and like writing. And then we also have Peter. He is an escape room artist, and Peter has come back to his hometown, which is where Briar is, and he is constructing he's trying to make an escape room to become a true escape room artist, and they find a portal into a fantasy world. So if you want the cozy autumnal vibes, this one is great, especially like I said, the beginning. Then we have Aliferous. This is a collection of short stories that all have something to do with a bird in them. So there are short stories as well as poems throughout here. Some of them are cozy, some of them are a little bit more gothic. We've got fairy tale retellings, adventure stories, romance stories, whimsy, and yeah, just a ton of poetry and fun short stories. I really enjoyed this collection. In a different vein, we have Saints and Monsters. If you like sea dragons and water, this is a book for you. So our main character is a blue princess, which means she was born with blue hair, and has like an ailment of the spine, and her family sees that as a curse. Her older sister is set to become the next queen, but something happens to her right before that. So our main character tries to kill a sea dragon to take her place, and things don't go quite as planned. It is a fun adventure story with some high stakes, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know if this is going to become a series. I should look that up because I could totally read more if it did. Another cozy fantasy because it involves baking. Because every autumn I want to get in the kitchen and make all the things, so that screams autumn to me. It's called A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking, and it's set in a world where there's like these kind of major wizards as well as minor wizards. So our main character is a minor wizard, and all her magic has to do with baking. She can make bread bake faster or rise faster or not burn, like little magic like that. And the minor wizards in her city are slowly being murdered, and right at the beginning of the book she goes to the bakery to work and comes across a dead body, which she quickly finds out is a minor wizard that has been murdered, and so she goes on the run to try to not get murdered herself. Then we have My Plain Jane. Now I just unhauled this one because I can't recommend the whole series, so I don't want to keep the book. Actually, technically it's still stacked in my piles, but I'm not gonna grab it. This is a retelling of Jane Eyre where they've inserted Charlotte as a character. So Charlotte Bronte is one of the characters, and Jane can see ghosts. It's a fantastical retelling with a lot of differences, and I had a lot of fun with it. I'm so disappointed that the series went downhill so hard after that because that one was a lot of fun. Okay, we're definitely getting darker as we go here. The next one is The Heir and the Spare by Kate Stradling. In this one, we follow a second-born princess who spent her younger years getting educated in a different kingdom. In that kingdom, she went under a different name, wasn't allowed to say she was a princess. She was disguised as a peasant girl, and now her older sister, who she very much does not like for very good reasons, is going to be marrying her biggest tormentor from school. So she's both excited about that and worried for her people to have them both there in power. So we follow our main character as the tormentor comes over to meet her sister, and a lot of stuff happens. I flew through this book so very fast. There were lots of twists and turns that I didn't see coming, and it went a lot darker than I was expecting. Really enjoyed it though. Next up is The Walled City. Now this one is a dystopian story, kind of based off of a true walled city in China from a long time ago. But in this story we follow 3 different people. One of them is a girl who a couple years earlier escaped to this walled city. Like, most people don't come here on purpose, but she was following a van. So her father sold her sister to a brothel, and she followed the van and into the walled city and has been looking for her sister ever since. So we follow her, and she's disguised as a boy because girls in the walled city get put into the brothels. And then we follow her sister in the brothel, and we follow a guy who definitely has a secret. We don't know why he's in the walled city. Something's going on. He's hiding something. He's trying to figure something out. We don't know what. The book is heavy. It's not like overly descriptive, but we do go into the brothel a bit, and there are some scenes there that I think are really well done, but it is really dark. So be warned of that. And all of these 3 storylines end up merging together at some point, but I don't want to say why. So I definitely don't recommend that for everyone, but I think it was amazing. I gave that 5 stars. Then a mystery thrillery type cult book is Lay Your Body Down. I don't think I recommended this one last year because I think I read it right after my recommendation video. Our main character gets told right at the beginning of the book that the man she loved for years has just passed away, and she and him were part of this church that she left because it was very cult-like. And so she returns home for the funeral, and his parents kind of corner her and ask her to like find out more information about his death because they also think it's very suspicious. And so we've got like cult vibes, and that really checks a box for me, oddly. Hopefully that doesn't raise some red flags, but it was really good, very fast paced. And then I think this is the last book on my list. Yes, okay. This book I'm currently reading, but enough people have told me that it's really good. I'm only on page 46, okay? Enough people have told me it's really good that I think I can recommend it. Keep it in mind that I haven't actually finished it or got very far. It's called Her Darkest Secret. So this is part of a series. Our main character's name is Fiona. She is part of the special, what is it? She works for the FBI as someone in the Strange Crimes Unit, and she is kind of obsessed with this guy who is known as the nursery rhyme killer. Part of the reason she's so obsessed with him is because she is his only victim that has got away, and her younger or older, I don't know, one of her sister was actually murdered. So her and her sister and 2 other girls were taken at the same time, and she's the only one that got away. And so, understandably so, she's obsessed with finding him. And right at the beginning of the book, he strikes again, and he's trying to lure her in. Everyone has a different level of what they find creepy in a book. Like, some of my friends think books are really scary that I don't think are at all. I would say that this one is pretty creepy. I probably won't be reading it right before I go to bed, but I'm okay with reading it during the day. So 46 pages in, but it has really good ratings on Goodreads. People have said really good things, so I'm assuming it's going to be really good. And then, like I said, it's part of a series, so probably will be continuing it as well. And that is all for my recommendations for autumn for this year, from the cozy to the dark. Let me know yours. I always love to get more autumn recommendations, my favorite time of year to read. Let me know everything from the cozy to the... This isn't like... You know, there's darker out there. I don't want to read too dark, but a little bit, assuming it has some light in it, I can deal with. Also, I should say that this is a Christian series as well. I don't know how much of that is going to come up in here. It has a little bit already, so that's good. That also helps bring some light into the book. So yeah, share your recommendations below, and thanks again for being here.